What is up, boys? My name is Berate, and welcome to my day 1 Corrode guide. Now, this video is not going to be edited very much. These are just my initial thoughts on the map in a long-form, yappy format that y'all seem to like to watch me do, so I'm going to do it right now. Disclaimer, I have not played on this map nearly enough for me to give an in-depth map guide. That is going to come in a couple more months. But the point of this guide is just to get you started on the theory of mainly the macro and some micro of how to play the map. So let's get into it. Alrighty, now as I said, I'm not going to be going into agent specific stuff or role specific stuff in this video. The map is not nearly developed enough in the community for me to figure out optimals on that. However, just on the way the map is designed and my knowledge of the game, I can tell you pretty much exactly how you're going to be playing this map. This map is a Sunset split hybrid. What do I mean by that? So if we look at a map like Sunset, let me actually pull up Valo plant for this. So if we look at a map like Sunset, you'll see that it's sort of set up in this way. Now, that wasn't very specific. I'll get into what I mean. So there's one entrance to B from mid, there's one entrance to B from main, one entrance to A from mid, sort of, and then one entrance to A from main. The only difference that I see between Sunset and Corrode is if you look at it, there's actually full entrances to A through mid. So entrance through mid, entrance through main, entrance through mid, entrance through main for A and B. So that's really the only difference I see between this map and Sunset. However, the things to note about this map compared to Sunset is the way that mid is actually laid out, not just the extremities and entrances going to the other sites. You'll notice that mid is laid out with a lot of cover, sort of similar to my favorite map. I hate this map with every fiber of my being. I'm glad they removed it. Split. Split, you'll notice Split's thing about mid is there's a lot of cover. There's a lot of things to hide around, a lot of things to play around. There's this box, there's this box, this box. You can hide here in cubby. So that's why I said that this map is a Sunset split hybrid, because it has the game plan of Sunset with the sort of positioning of Split. So now that we have that established, let's actually go back to the map itself and sort of see how we're going to be playing it. So sort of like Sunset when it comes to mid control, and sort of like, you know, Split when it comes to mid control, but specifically when smoking vent, smoke top mid. Immediately, sometimes you'll be tempted to just smoke this in top mid and call it a day. This smoke is not good because 99% of the time, the people who are actually going to be holding mid are going to be holding mid from like right here, or they're going to be, you know, more, you know, out like this, holding like this, and using some kind of get out of jail free card to TP across. While this is the best way to hold mid, in my opinion, if the enemies just are not smoking this off, chances are, if this gets smoked off, they're just going to hop down here and hold mid regardless. So if you're going to be smoking mid, make sure you smoke like this, but make sure to smoke deep in here like this, so that the smoke is far back enough that they can't get any peeks on the left side and the right side. If they're up on the platform, make sure that the smoke is way back here. This doesn't really matter if you're playing controller or if you just have a controller on your team. Just make sure to tell them, hey, smoke deep top mid. Really is as simple as that. The next thing that I'll talk about when it comes to taking and holding mid control is go slow in mid. Chances are you are going to be tempted to just gung-ho down mid with like 3 people on your team and just run it down. That's a death trap. That's not a good idea, mainly because of this angle right here. This angle right here is designed to kind of shut down mid pushes in a really safe way. At the start of the round, any defender could just walk up here on a hard read and be like, hey, I have the read, they're going to push mid, they're going to pop one and then run away, and that's really safe. The only real way to get rid of this angle is to actively smoke it off. But in that case, then they're just going to hold you from top mid, and if you also smoke off top mid, you have no smokes for the actual site take. So the way that you get around this is you don't just gung-ho it down mid, you play your timings a little bit. I like to call it the mid game of chicken, where it's sort of like you're kind of playing chicken with your opponent, and the first person to move loses. The first person to move loses. So let's say I'm a defender and I'm playing right here. We're trying to hold off this mid push because essentially the way the map is designed is if the attackers get mid, they just win the round. They just have so much space on the map to go wherever they want and split wherever they want in the site. Makes retakes very difficult. So let's just assume for the sake of the argument that if the attackers get mid control, they win. However, let's say that you need to help your team hold A. So you're kind of playing chicken with your opponent to see how long are they willing to stay here, fending off your mid push and not helping their team before they just give up and say, nobody's going mid, and they go and help their team, which is the immediate threat. Now, I'm going to be making an entire video on immediate threat and secondary threat theory. Stay tuned for that, but I won't get into it here, but just know that if you are not making mid an active threat, and instead mid is just the secondary threat in the back of their minds, they're not going to be worrying about it, and chances are they're going to be running away to just go help their team on A if their team's going A, or they're going to, you know, rotate through A to go to B to help their teammates on B. But it's the proverbial game of chicken. However, there are times where people will just like legitimately be weird and play like a human sentinel setup, and they'll just post up here the whole round. Very rare, but it is a thing that I have experienced, even when I was playing this map just on my own time. Not on stream, not for any videos, just on my own time playing this map. There was just people sitting here the whole round playing really weird. So what I would do is I would kind of just sit here and wait for them to leave. Now, this is entirely up to game sense. There's not going to be any sort of visual or audio cue to know when they're going to leave, but you kind of just have to use your game sense to know, okay, at this point, they've probably left, and now I get to walk up. Now, once you actually start walking up in mid as an attacker, you have a couple of options. You got either A, route through A, through here, or B, you could actually go all the way up and try and route through top mid. And your routing is entirely based off of where your team's going. You're going to want to route through here if your team's going A. You're going to want to route through here if your team's going B. Unless your team is just going really, really slow. In that case, you can actually go for a cheeky play where you actually route through A, try and get some space on A here, like this. And then what you do is you just try and get backs turned to you as they're rotating to B. So it's assumed that your team is playing slow B main, and at this point the enemies are going to be rotating like this. And then hopefully at this point, if your timing is good, you're going to be about right here in your lurk shift walking, and you'll probably get like 1-2 backs turned to you as they're rotating with their knives out. That's a really cheeky play. That's a really risky play, a very inconsistent play. However, I've used it in my games so far, and it seems to have worked. But only do that if your team is going B, but specifically if they're going slow B. But if you want just a good rule of thumb, if your team is going A, walk up through here to pinch. If your team is going B, walk up through top mid to pinch. That's about it, really, for mid on the attack space of what you can do as a solo. If your team just wants to gung-ho it and push mid, just really make sure that this top mid smoke is there, and also make sure to have something for this angle. Normally if I'm playing Omen, I'll just blind it like this so that they can run through, because once these two angles are gone, the only safe places that the enemies can play is just like right here waiting for the smoke to go down. All of the other angles in mid are just complete one and done angles, but there are a couple of one and done angles that I'll go and I'll talk about, so we'll just we'll save that for next. As far as attacking B goes, I think the best place to the smoke for B is obviously Heaven. Heaven is a really good place to smoke. So make sure to tell your controller that to smoke Heaven. I'm pretty sure that this is also the best place to smoke. Is just a CT here. But as you can see, it's pretty secluded. So there's kind of two options to smoke here. If your team is really gung-hoing it down here, go ahead and smoke this, do it. But as long as Heaven is smoked, you have two options. You can either smoke right here, which is this spot right here, like this, or you can smoke the entrance from mid. It's entirely up to you. You would smoke this if you don't have... You would smoke the entrance to mid if you don't have a teammate going mid. But if you do have a teammate going mid, you would just smoke this. And then obviously smoke Heaven. The Heaven smoke is very important on this map, because Heaven is very oppressive, because from Heaven you can pretty much see the entire site. So always make sure you're smoking heaven. As far as execing and taking the site goes, just make sure you clear toast. This angle is called toast, in case y'all didn't know. Just really make sure you have something to clear toast. It is wall bangable, so you can kind of just, wall bang this if you want. Oftentimes you'll get people, sitting down here with a judge, and trying to blast people like this. The easiest way to clear this out is just to wall bang it. And yeah, that's about it. Oh yeah. The walls on this map are made of absolute paper. So you can pretty much wall bang everything on this map. That seems to be wall bangable. So you can wall bang this, you can wall bang this, you can definitely wall bang this. And when you're clearing the site, you really need to be abusing those wall bangs, because the most common places that I see people play are behind this box. Extremely wall bangable. If you hard read that they're behind this box, they just back. Look at that. They will play behind this box. Again, wall bangable. They die if they try and play back here. I don't think I wall banged it correctly, but like you can see the bullet holes going through. This is a wall bangable box. You can tell when something's wall bangable, the texture of a bullet going through and the texture of a bullet just hitting against it are different. So that's how you can tell it if something is wall bangable. So this is not wall bangable. This is. That's not, obviously. But once I go up to about here, that's where it starts to become wall bangable, and you see they are coming through on the other side. Anyways, in case of point, this is wall bangable. So make sure you're clearing this. Also make sure you're wall banging this and clearing this as well. This map is going to be wall bang city, but you can pretty much clear out the entire site just by wall banging if you know where to wall bang. I think I've said wall bang like 30 different times in the past 15 seconds, but I don't really care. I'm trying to do a map guide around here, people, and I just woke up, so I can't even be bothered to be funny right now. Yeah, that's about it for taking B. When you're taking A, the spots that personally I'll smoke. Okay, one second. Spot that you definitely should not smoke is this. Good lord, what are you doing? Don't smoke this off. If you smoke this off, then you're ruining an entire, extra entrance to. Oh wait, no, not smoking this off. I mean, sorry. I'll see people smoking this off. Going out. Sorry, smoking that deep is good. Okay. Smoking this deep is good. I'm sorry. I messed up. Smoking this deep is good. Smoking right here is bad. But Berate, we can just walk on the site for free. We can just walk up. Boom, you're getting ratted. You're getting getting hard held. Big open lane. Me, Odin. Awooga. That's what's going to happen to your team. You need to split through A. And this is also another point that I'll make on this map. You need to split sites. Do not 5-man rush main, for the love of God. Don't do it. Even having one person lurk mid, like I said, is just a good idea. Anyways, don't smoke this. It's bad. Don't do it. If you see your controller smoking this, I give you full permission to yell every racial slur that you know at them. You can even invent a couple of new ones if you want. I'm not here to judge. But don't smoke this. If you want to smoke this, just smoke this. Allow your team to actually split through here. And look at that. It's just a free entrance on the side if you can get this lane. Split this site. Very important to split this site. Now, this site is very easy to attack, but it's also very easy to retake and very hard to play post plan on. So always make sure that you're planting the bomb open. The optimal plant is right here. So I'm just gonna drop the bomb right here. So right here. The optimal plant is right here, so that you can actually hold the bomb from here. And if you want to go all the way around through here, you can sort of hold the bomb through here. You just have to sneak up a little bit. Not this way. Whoa. I'm a coach. Wow. Sneak up through this way, and you can hold the bomb from there. That's the optimal plant, in my opinion. If you want another plant that's like open from both angles, you can plant right here. There's just a standard open plant.
Drop the spike.
But you can hold it from here if you want. You can also hold it from over here as well, like this. Post plant on this site is going to be very awkward as is. So this site is kind of just a no-go site. If it's a 5v5, because you're going to be losing retakes and 5v5s on this site. However, B is going to be your best bet. If you can get B, the retakes are going to be even. So just as a rule of thumb, if it's a 5v5, try to go B. If you've whittled down some numbers, or you have a really, really good position, like someone's here in their spawn holding for rotates, or you just get a fast plant on A and you kill like 3 people, then A is fine. Just note that A is going to be a nightmare to hold for retakes on attack, so it's fine. On to defensive strategies now. Everything I've said on attack can apply in the reverse to defense, so just go back and get everything I say, but just do the opposite. That's how you play defense. However, one quick play that I'll notice on defense is mid. Pushing out mid on defense is actually very, very scary for the attackers. If you just like drop a smoke down here, round start, and walk up to like this corner right here, you can really, really catch some people off guard trying to walk up mid. I got caught by this angle quite a bit when I was labbing like my mid lurking paths. It was this angle and that angle that killed me. There is a natural crossfire right here where you can have one person right here and then the other person right here. So there's a natural crossfire there. If you're playing someone with a get out of jail free card like Chamber, holy crap, this angle is good. Just, you know, pop your Chamber TP right here and sit in this corner. This is massive. I just want to give a shout out to this corner for the defenders. What an actual MVP. They knew people were going to sit in this corner too. They added a dog licking your booty. They added a dog licking your tush if you want to sit in this corner. The Riot developers knew what they were doing with this corner. Yeah, this corner is very strong. Anyways, that's just my day 1 guide for this map. And yeah, I'd like to thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe. I work very hard on these videos to do the most accurate information that I can. Again, this is not a full map guide. The full map guide for this is going to come out in a month or 2 once I actually fully fledge out how to play every agent on this map, every role. So like my normal map guides. But for now, this should be able to hold you over in ranked so that you sort of know what you're doing on this map. Yeah, this has been Berate, and brush your teeth, because I mean, I just woke up, I haven't. Bye-bye.